Good evening, one and all, and welcome to tonight's live stream. We're going to be actually going over some different types of personas. In case people have not heard of what a persona is, essentially it's a model or mock up or example, basically a character of based on reality. So it's based off of facts, based off of truths, based off of data that's collected about a certain target audience or member of your audience that you're looking for. So while I was on the web Web Accessibility Initiative's website with W3Cs, I did go ahead and review some of the stories of web users. That way, we're not sitting here and constantly going over some of the same repetitive information. I know that that could get a little bit tough to listen to. So we're going to go ahead and actually think and see some of the users. So again, as a reminder, accessibility is about people. It's not just about trying to make things harder on one person. It's all about trying to give people equity in what they're trying to review, whether it be on the web or be in a physical medium such as ramps or handicap parking spaces where the lines are laid out so that someone can get out of a wheelchair or have extra space to be able to maneuver based on their level of abilities. And there is a caveat that is given on their website that says the following user stories represent the experiences of some people with disabilities. They do not address all disabilities or all impacts faced by people with disabilities. These are other disabilities. These other disabilities may be presented from birth or may develop as a result of an accident, illness, or aging. Let's go ahead then. And I want to start off with some that were not as visible to the naked eye for someone to be able to see and look at someone and necessarily think, oh, well, this person has a different ability level than I do, because some things you just can't see on the surface. So we're going to go ahead and review this first persona. Her name is Lexi. She's an online shopper who cannot distinguish between certain colors, color blindness. I think she's a good example for people that want to know what is the purpose and reason behind having alt text on an image or describing a color, because many times people take pictures and it's like, okay, that's good enough. But what you don't realize is some people don't know the difference between the colors. They could be looking at something that looks pale white and you describe it as a light rosy pink. That's not how all people see color. So let's go ahead and read Lexi's, I'm going to call it a summary. So Lexi is an older adult who loves online shopping and fantasy football. Lexi cannot see all colors equally well. Websites and apps that rely on colors alone present barriers for Lexi. Using color alone to highlight text and to indicate areas in the chart also present barriers for Lexi. But fortunately, her work colleagues have learned ways for using other visual markers in addition to colors. And let's go ahead and see how they do that. I think that's what the video has. I'll be honest, I haven't watched the video yet, so we're all going to see. Does it have captions? Yes, it does. English.
How people with disabilities use digital technology. Lexi, online shopper who cannot distinguish between colours.
Hello, I'm Lexi. I was born with deuteranopia and protanopia, which people often call colour blindness. I have difficulty distinguishing between red, green, orange and brown, all of which appear to me as kind of murky brown. In a store, I often can't tell the colour of two shoes or two shirts beside each other. I love online shopping because it's often easier for me when they use the names of the colours in addition to showing the colours. Unfortunately, not all online shops have an accessible checkout experience for me. Often, the sign up or checkout form says, "Fields in red are required." Most times, I can't tell which fields are required when they use colour only. Good shops either have the word required or that little star beside the fields, or even better, put the word optional beside the ones I can skip. Not relying on colour alone is important for other websites and apps too. For example, my favourite fantasy football app has a symbol for each team on the jersey of the players, in addition to colour. This helps me spot the players on my team more quickly, not just by reading the names under each player. Colour issues also happen at work. For example, when my colleagues highlight words in a document without using the commenting function. The commenting function outlines the marked text in addition to highlighting it. Another example is when charts don't have symbols as well as the colours for lines and bars. I can't identify them from colour alone. My team is usually careful about this, but sometimes the suppliers we work with aren't. You can help make technology accessible to me.
Accessibility. It's about people. For more information from the Web Accessibility Initiative on how people with disabilities use digital technology, visit w3.org/WAI/people.
Well, there you go. You got to hear her story directly from her about what happened. Let's see if this tells any other information. I believe the video pretty much sums it up. Oh, I wonder if, though, because I know I was not talking during that. And this is me learning to use these tools better myself. But I am kind of curious on if it's going to pick up the audio and turn that into subtitles in OBS. I'll be finding that out shortly. If not, everything's recorded, so I can always pop that in to get the proper transcript for where I'm missing information. Okay, and we talk about the different things. And for this persona, they do provide assistive technology and adaptive strategies used. Let's go ahead to the presentation. Okay, so this is a full another section. So presentation, distinguishing and understanding. I feel like, I'm staying quiet right now because I'm debating on if I want to, okay, no. I'm going to finish up with the personas because they each have more information, and then we'll come back to this resources later on a different day, because today I just wanted to introduce you all to who we're talking about. And again, it's not just a single person or a single experience. Everyone has different levels of ability. So I just wanted to give a few examples of some where they're not as visible to someone to see and say, okay, well, how can I help? Because some people just don't like disclosing that information. Yeah. And then this is Daru. I believe I did not listen to the audio yet, so I'm not sure if that's how I pronounce his name. Older adult student who is deaf. Daru is a student who is deaf. Because his first or native language is sign language, Daru has difficulties reading content that is not well structured with consistent layout and navigation. At his university, many of the lectures are being posted online. This can be a barrier to Daru if the videos don't contain captions, or if the captions have mistakes or lag behind what the lecturer is saying. In his free time, Drew likes to watch movies and TV shows on his mobile device. These must contain accurate captions and also be coded so that he knows who is speaking. I feel like this is going to echo off of some of the stuff from the Wix webinar on Saturday, because I was talking about that there as well, where captions are important and we sometimes neglect them and don't go back and review them a second time, but they're very important to being able to understand the context. Even when I was talking about specifically Lumi, the way that it's said, the way that it's spelled, they had it spelled one way on the presentation, one way in the caption, and a third way. Those are all examples of why we have to be consistent.
How people with disabilities use digital technology. Dhruv, older adult student who is deaf.
Hello, my name Dhruv, Dhruv. I'm deaf. I hear some sounds, but speech not enough. I sign British Sign Language. I think and dream signs. I recently enrolled in an online degree. For my classes, I schedule interpreters who can interpret the lectures and conversation and voice for me. I need video conferencing apps with functionality to pin videos of the interpreters so that I can always see them. Some lectures have real-time captioning typed by human captioners. This is more accurate than automatic captions, which often don't recognize specialized terms in the lectures. For our assigned videos, I rely on good captions. These are edited so that each sentence appearing on the screen is not too long and is synchronized with the audio. I also often find myself needing to adjust the text size and colors of the captions to be able to read them better. Some apps also allow me to move the captions to the top or bottom of the video so that they are not in the way. In some situations, I find myself lip reading. For example, when I'm on unplanned calls without interpreters or other people who can sign. I learned lip reading over the years because of such situation, but it's not always reliable for me. I need to see the person's mouth, have them speak clearly, and seeing their gestures also helps. Yet it's exhausting and not really something I can keep doing for too long. I also use the chat function. Some chat tools support real-time text rather than line-by-line text messages. This is much more interactive. I can engage with my friends in text conversation as others do by voice. Of course, the classes also come with a lot of reading. I'm fine with that, except when the writing is unnecessarily complex and without structures like lists and headings. People don't realize that for me, reading text involves extra effort because sign language is my native language. So, like for everyone else, clear and simple writing makes text easier to understand. You can help make technology accessible to me.
Accessibility. It's about people.
I have a feeling each time it's going to have that closing, which is why I didn't proceed. And I tried to make this as big as possible, but this is an example of OBS trying to live catch the words that I'm saying. As you can see, it's a little bit delayed if you look at my lips. Also, though, I have to be very careful, and I'd never thought about it until he said it, but he knows British Sign Language, not American Sign Language, which I could imagine that being difficult because just listening to someone that has a different accent than mine can be confusing. And also, it's very hard to read lips because you may be a mumbler where you don't move your lips very much like I'm trying to do right now. Or you could be someone that's super overly expressive. Not in a bad way, just you're excited and ready to go for live, like the E-A-I-O-U person that's in choir where they have us doing all those different facial movements for Broadway. I haven't been looking at it. I think over time this is getting better at acknowledging how I speak and the words that are coming out of my mouth. Also, since the first stream I've done to now, I have slowed it down to try to make sure that it actually picks up the words that I say. But let's try Ashbury art. Right there. That's the best example. It's spelled Asbury art versus ASH space BERRY space ART. Let me try a couple more times. Ashbury art. See, if I'm talking too fast, it slurs it together. Thus, why you have to go back and check your transcripts. You can't trust them all the time. Or with that whole loomy, 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 loomy. You see, it gives different versions for that one word. So yeah, just wanted to give a live example of some captions for everyone to see. I thought about that when he was speaking. And yeah. And with his, it's not, oh, I'm completely deaf. It's just, or he identifies as being deaf, but it's not to the point where it's zero sounds. And also, think about you're trying to sit through your day just getting through something, and maybe you don't have any ability. See, I don't, also, too, I struggle with the word disability. You're, how do I put this? You have to add on an extra layer in order to be able to just do equal things as your peers. And imagine having to add that on top of everything else you're trying to do in life. And like he said, he's sitting there trying to translate it. So not only is he trying to translate it from English text or academic paper, I saw the paper that he was reading, I'm like, yeah, no, they lost me. To how he sees the words. So yeah, just things to think about. And how could that impact a website? Well, you're a course maker. Are your subtitles up to date? Are you writing scripts that make sense to everyone? Or are you just trying to sell the product? You're doing a webinar. Do you have basically your script written and you might go off script a little bit? Sure. Could you provide that transcript in advance to somebody? Let's see product base wise. How are you listing your descriptions of your items? Are they in a bullet list or are they in a descriptive paragraph? Are you adding too much text? Not enough text? Just questions to think about for your customer. Because you don't know, especially if they're online, who they are. Okay, and we're going to move to Stefan. I'm going to say is his name. Might be wrong with that too, because I know there's Steven, Stefan, and Stefan. But we're going with Stefan. Student with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder and dyslexia. So Stefan is a student who has dyslexia and attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. Stefan finds it hard to maintain focus on his schoolwork, especially when reading a lot of dense text or following written instructions. He likes digital textbooks and websites that allow him to use text-to-speech software because he can follow both written and auditory words. It's important, though, that websites and other digital technology use plain language and consistent layout and don't display pop-up ads and moving images, which are very distracting and confusing. Mobile apps and websites are often less cluttered and easier to use. So let's hear a little bit more from Stefan himself.
How people with disabilities use digital technology. Stefan, student with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder and dyslexia.
Hello, I'm Stefan. I have dyslexia and attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, ADHD. I have difficulty recognising or sounding out written words, even though I use those same words in conversation all the time. It affects my spelling and my reading comprehension. It often takes me a long time to figure out the individual words I'm reading, and then it's hard for me to remember how the words in a sentence fit together in a meaningful way. Digital books and documents are often much better for me, on the computer, on a tablet, or my favourite, on my new e-reader. I can change the font type, text size and line spacing, which makes it easier for me to read. I also use the read aloud function because I read better when I can see and hear the text at the same time. It also highlights the words being read aloud and has a reading ruler so that I can follow along more easily. Sometimes though, digital books and documents don't work well. Sometimes they're just scanned images. These also can't be read aloud and I can't change the text size and font. Some don't have bookmarks which I use to jump to the parts I want to focus on, or there are long chunks or text without any headings, so I have difficulty focusing on the content. It's so much easier when text has more spacing and graphics to make them easier to follow. Another problem is when I have to do online research. I type in words but sometimes I do it wrong or use a different word that sounds the same, like break when I mean break. Sometimes I land on websites with all these ads and things popping up and moving around the screen. With ADHD, I get distracted by these ads and videos, and sometimes I click on them and I forget what I was meant to be doing. I use several pop-up blockers, but they don't always work. When I find an article I want to read, I try to remember to switch to reading mode in my browser. This usually removes all the stuff around the page and lets me focus on the text. But some websites don't work well, and the ads still appear or the text is too difficult for me to read. I love it when websites work well with my settings and extensions, like the extension for spelling and grammar, which helps me when I'm typing things like emails. That's very important for me. You can help make technology accessible to me.
Accessibility.
Okay, so Stefan, as stated earlier, he has ADHD and dyslexia on top of it with spelling issues. So again, if we just go back, well, I'm not going to go back, but just as example, that's not something where walking down the street you can see, oh, well, he's going to have issues with reading this book. He's going to have this. You don't know until you don't know. And especially the ad thing. I know people don't like ad blockers. And I know there's so much. A part of this is a problem with capitalism, which I'm not getting into that. People have to make money, but at the same time, we don't have to make other people's lives inconvenience. I still remember as a crafter the whole 6-day star blanket controversy that happened where people said there are so many ads. I wonder if, oh no, am I about to start internet beef? 6-day star blanket. I've never actually been on the website to see myself. However, we're going to see it. And nothing against her. Okay, first of all, there's a big old pop-up blocker for cookie consent. The way this is set up, I have a problem. There's already pop-ups coming. Oh, yep. We've been on the website for less than 1 minute. We've gotten the consent to cookies, which is required, and I do appreciate it for being here. I don't like the fact that accept is in big blue, and it makes you feel like you don't have an option to opt out of it when the opt-out option is on the left. And then it goes to a whole website. Okay. I had to scroll to get to the point where it's talking about opting out. Can I actually opt out of this stuff? Oh, okay. Now, which one of the boxes do you think I fit for certain things here? Because I will say I do have some myself as well for disabilities. None of none of mine are visual ones. Every so often I wear glasses, which is about the closest that you can see to my visible disabilities. But okay, we were able to make it. We were able to disable cookies. And let's see the accessibility menu. Now, this is a blog, so do I feel like they're going to be under as much scrutiny? No. However, okay. Has she improved? Because that's the other thing, too. We're too quick to judge and tell people, oh, you're not going to improve your experience for me. And that's not right. That's not fair. Like, some of these things that were issues that I was aware of on the 6-day knit or the 6-day star crochet blanket, those were a lot. But if we're sitting here and trying to get her to do all this updating herself within a day or two, that was not happening. Okay, let's see colorblind. Okay, well, it does flip the colors. Dyslexia. Oh, that's interesting. Whatever user weight is, you have to choose.
User way screen reader enabled. Reading pace, normal, 1 of 3.
Okay,
Blind,
I will.
disabled. User way screen reader disabled.
I had someone in my family that was blind, so I can deal with screen readers. What I was going to say though is I find it interesting that whoever created this extension, you can only choose one profile at a time. Because what if someone is dyslexic, has low vision, and is colorblind? They have to choose which one's going to be the best for them. ADHD, I want to see what that one does. Let's keep going with the ADHD one on. So it looks like it just goes line by line. But does it reduce any? So it grayscales everything out. Oh crap, there is a child. I don't like having. Yeah. Where is the actual pattern? Oh, I guess there's different versions of the 6-day star blanket. Hello? Is it only available for sale? I'm going to respectfully just... I'm going to try 6-day star blanket again. Oh, and that's interesting. It cuts off that top right. I was going to say, I'll respectfully bow out of this because I'm not willing to start to become a part of B. And I noticed the... Oh, I was about to say, it disappeared. Let's see how many ads there are. It doesn't reduce the ads. It just simply helps you by guiding your section. There's 1, 2... Well, yeah, no, I'll count that as 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, there was a 6th one. Oh, that one got me caught. Ah. 7, 8, 9. That's not as bad as it I think used to be. I think that there were more than 9. Oh no, we're not actually at the pattern. 10. But I feel like this kind of is similar to the cooking videos where they always talk about, hey, well, I have a cooking video for you, or a cooking tutorial on how to do something. So yeah, it's a lengthy pattern and it does have quite a bit of ads. I'm going to say yes to both of those. So do I think Stefan would have fun trying to read that? Potentially with the screen reader, it could help. I'm not going back to listen to the screen reader. It's been a long day. And actually it's currently 9:30 where I am at. So we're going to go ahead and wrap up this stream as I have another one that starts at 10. But we left off at Stefan, and I still want to get to Marta, Elaz, Ada, and Ian. So when we come back, I could technically, depending on how I feel tomorrow, I might come and do some of the other ones and extend ADA Monday to Tuesday. But otherwise, I will be back next week and we'll continue with Marta's story as who are they behind the scenes. I hope everyone has a great night. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye for now.